Welcome back, friends and fans of Bob's Barn Workshop. Today we got a pretty simple one. This is my desktop PC that I built, I believe, back around 2008. So she's 14 years old. And recently it's just not been wanting to start. So being electronics engineering for 35 years, I got thinking about it, and I pulled out the power supply and I found a bulged capacitor in the power supply, and I replaced it because it didn't want to start, and it started right up. So I put it back in the PC, and the next day after that it wouldn't start again. So I have this computer power supply tester thingy, which is just a box with a bunch of LEDs that have that you plug into the 20-pin power supply connector, and I'll show you that. And it powers up the power supply and tests it, and if all the lights light, then it works. Well, even though it was intermittent, when I unplug it and plug this in, it lights up again, but I still think the power supply is flaky. So I ended up buying a Thermaltake 500-watt power supply for this. So we're going to change that out today, and hopefully that'll cure the flakiness. So let's get this on the bench and take it apart. So we got the PC up on the desktop, well, on a table here. And I really love this old case. Smilodin. When I built this PC, I put in the two DVD, CD read writers. I had this extended USB 2.0 bank that went in for the small drive size, so I just put that in. It's got a fan in the front. It's got a fan on the side. This is the access side to here. I had to do a little cobble wiring to get this wired in. Fan in the side there that blows right onto the EVGA video card. Has one of those water cooled, or fluid cooled anyway, CPUs from AMD. This case has all kinds of just super easy way to just twist and click to mount drives and such. This thing just pops in. In the back there's another fan. Just absolute tons of, this is a gigabyte board, ultra durable it's called. 500-watt power supply. Now here's the cool part too. Fan on this side too. Oh, no fan, just a port. The wires are just a little short, so you have to lift this up. There's how you get your motherboard in. So we're going to unplug these guys. And she lays right down. Now, I tested, this is the wire, the orange and white twisted wire goes to the motherboard here. And that's from the push button start, which is just a momentary, and I've tested that, and I can show you that if you want. And the rest of the plugging in is really pretty easy because you've got the, I believe that's like a SATA drive power supply connections for these two. And there's the standard disk drive power connector for that little USB port header, and an extra port that goes over here. Lots of wires anyway, lots of wires to connect to that power supply. So let me get those unplugged. Well, I need to get the tripod. So just a little hint here on troubleshooting your own computer. Should it be that your computer just dies and does not run? More than likely it is the power supply. So what you need to do is, as I said, this orange and white wire coming from the front panel, which I traced it back, I pulled the front panel off, it just snaps on, is the line that goes on your motherboard to the power switch. That triggers something on the board to trigger something on this connector to turn on the power supply. Obviously a transistor or something shorts it out. So that being said, the tester that I have should turn this power supply on once I put the power line in it. So let's give it a try. So first let's test that switch, as I said. Now, those of you not familiar with a multimeter, this is a very good multimeter. There's usually several inputs for your probes. Red is usually the one that you're going to use for the hot voltage, so see that's plugged into the volt ohm diode check. And then common for this. You use the same common, but you move the red probe between these connectors for other functions like amps and milliamps measurement. They will put the voltage that you're trying to measure through a shunt resistor in there, and it measures the voltage across it, and then through math in there calculates the current you're drawing. But we don't care about that. Okay, so we're trying this one more time again. That other meter just seemed to be flaky for some reason. So, I got another one that should beep. And I'm going to hold the leads on the connectors and push the button. See, it works fine. Nice little pocket fluke, by the way. It was a gift from a boss of mine back in the day. Man, after 14 years, she's got a little dust, but not as much as you would think. All right, let's get these out of the way. Get them off the top of the fan. Get these guys opened up. I gotta come through the whole thing. I'm gonna put this back together as we speak here. Alright. They've just got like split pin kind of like things that just pop in. There you go. Alright, so we know this works. So, and the polarity doesn't matter because it's just a switch. And I'm going to put it back on the motherboard where it's labeled such. Come on. There we go. Alright. Now, that other power supply, there's the tester. This is the original power supply. It's plugged in and the power's on, but nothing's happening. But now, if this thing starts, there it goes. It says the power supply is fine. The fan in the front is very noisy. I really should replace it. So I'm not sure what's going on here, guys. Let's turn this guy off. Now we got to raise this guy up, so I'm going to put it on something. Hey, brand new power supply. Let's put him under the power thing like this. And this is one of those 24 pin headers. Some of them had 20. The new boards have. Shit, this was 14 years ago, so new is a relative term. There's a double 12 volt one that goes up into the other corner of the motherboard here. That's spelled with M-U-T-H-A, mother. And there's a big one that goes onto the power supply for the video card. Now, let's see if the start button works. So what do you think, guys? Should I change the power supply? I think for right now, I'm not. It's all booting up. The hard drive is running. You can see the hard drive light over here blinking. I built this computer, as I said, I used to build a lot of computers back in the day when you used to have to put in the addresses in the hard drives and everything, and nowadays you basically plug all your stuff together and hit a button. Of course, back when I built this one, you added the software with a DVD or a CD, and said, make me a computer, and it did all of its work all by itself, finding all the devices and whatever. I don't know, I think I'm just going to still leave it sitting out on the floor, because as I said, I'm working on that so anyway, long story short, this tester to me is a brilliant piece of test your power supply history here. If you don't have that, you can short between two pins, and one is like PS OK, which is the only green wire. That green wire right there needs to short to ground, so you can take the connector out and put a jumper between that green wire and any other black wire, because black wires are all just ground connections. In other words, power supply negative, not really ground. Ground is earth ground. And on this big connector here, on mine at least, it's the fourth wire up from the bottom end here. You'd have to unplug this, jumper that together with a paper clip or something, power your computer back up. If the power supply doesn't start and beep beep, then your power supply is dead. And the power supply is a very common thing to die on these, because they're the ones producing all the heat and running all the current to drive all your devices. And to basically just to change the power supply, if you had to, you just, obviously the connectors are all you know, different, so they can only plug in where they need to plug in. And your peripheral ones use all these 4-pin flat ones, so that goes to a lot of the peripherals. And now the SATA type drives, the serial, high-speed serial drive hard drives and CDs and stuff have that other 6-pin. It looks like a 6-pin. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 pins. 5-pin connectors. Like this one right here. But if you look at it, it's got a whole bunch of little fine, let me get some light on that. There's like a whole bunch of little fine teeth in there. But if you look carefully, there's only 5 wires to it. But that's the power for stuff like hard drives and DVD drives. Now, I still want a DVD drive to be able to play my DVDs and CDs and stuff that I have, because I've got hundreds of CDs and DVDs, so I want to be able to use them. Alright, guys and gals. But anyway, if you wanted to change your power supply, it's right up here in the back corner usually on an ATX type. And if you can see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in it is all. And there's a little rack made for it in there where it just slides right into your case. And that's the way it goes. Well, I'm not going to fix it if it ain't broke, but I do have a backup power supply if it continues to give me trouble. Okay, guys, well, that's how you troubleshoot a bad power supply in a computer. And I'm not going to show you my face today because I haven't shaved or combed my hair. I'm retired, what can I say? The reason I have this USB cable here is it comes out of that USB header thing that I put in where one of the small drives go, 3.5-inch drives, and the output cable comes over and actually feeds back into the USB port here. So that's just a multiplexer, 4-channel. Just put a whole bunch more on the front, so when I want to shove in USB thumb drives and any other USB things I got. There's 2 on the bottom here, but they're so low down on the case they're hard to get to. So I prefer the ones that are up higher. That's it. Alright, guys, gals, God bless. We'll see you next time. And hopefully next time we'll be working on the trailer, the Beetle, the Mustang. I think I know what's wrong with the Mustang. So we'll be getting to those in the near future. Alright, guys, God bless. Take care. We'll see you next time.